you are really committed to the school. That's why I said a lot of people already get filtered out. If you are committed to INSEAD, then you are applying there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Get to B School. This is your host, Drex, and I'm grateful for your time. Thank you for being here. Having a great week so far. We're out here in Utah. We're just spending as much time as we can with friends, family, in the mountains, mountain biking, running, hiking. It's been great. We're going to go to Jackson this week and spend some time in the water. My wife comes from a big water ski family, so it's great. Very fun week with the cousins and the family. I hope you're doing well. This episode is going to make your day better no matter what's going on. Rakhi Jain was introduced by Rakhi, my buddy in the Kellogg program. So thank you, sir. She is so pleasant to talk with. She just graduated from INSEAD. She's working at BCG now in Calgary. So her episode is just full of great international experience. She offers great practical advice and insight into what the MBA experience looks like outside of the US, and specifically in a crunched 10-month program like INSEAD. A few things besides the episode to note. Leland's GMAT week starts today, July 21st. So if you're considering the GMAT at all, make time for it. The link is in our show notes. It's incredible that Leland offers this for free. It's a great resource. Next thing, if you know someone that should be on the show, or if you should be on the show, please reach out. I'm very easy to find. Drexler Tanner. There's not many of us. You can find me easily. Please introduce yourself. I would love to continue these organic introductions, these organic relationships, and just meet as many people as we can and get these experiences that, otherwise we wouldn't hear. So I'm grateful for them, grateful for you for sharing, and hope you like this episode now with Rakhi Jain. Rakhi, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
We need to give a quick shout out to Rakhi. He is the one who brought us together.
100%.
How did you meet him?
I think I did exchange at Kellogg during my time at INSEAD. And then I was at one of the, company events. I was not recruiting, just saying, but then I was interested in knowing what company does and what do they have to offer. So I went to this very cool event where they were explaining it's a niche PE firm. It was about real estate. And I was like kind of interested in real estate. So I think we met there for the first time.
Okay, cool. A good teaser there. So you did your program at INSEAD, and another teaser, you maybe were interested in real estate, but you are actually at BCG in Calgary.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, awesome. Let's dive right into it. It's a particular treat when we get to have someone from INSEAD because this podcast has been largely US based schools.
Yeah.
When did you start thinking about going to get an MBA?
Yeah, that's a long story, but the short answer is MBA was always on my radar. But the 2-year pay gap, the cost to pay, the whole fees always made me like, it's too risky. And I was like always avoiding it until COVID happened. And then work from home, I got like more time to think about it. I eventually got serious. That's when I thought like now is the time to make things happen. In the bigger picture wise, I was working as an engineer and I wanted to do more than what I was doing, kind of scale my impact, do more things than doing physics and math and day-to-day work. So that's where the initial thought came in.
Okay, interesting. When you were researching schools, what drew you to INSEAD?
I think initially I was of the mindset that I would go to a US program or a Canadian program. Rotman was my like straightforward choice. However, I had some COVID emergencies in my family, and because of which I lost like a year because I was supporting my family. I relocated back to India for a few months, and I was like, maybe MBA is not happening. But then as I came back, I thought maybe like, one last chance. And since I lost a year, I thought like 10-year, sorry, not 10-year. It would be brutal. 10-month program at INSEAD seems very attractive compared to other programs. Not in terms of just like opportunity and the length of the MBA program, but also cost-wise. If you compare like 2-year cost and then you're out of job market for 2 years, and I was supposed to take loan, then you build upon the loan interest. So there were like multiple things to say like, okay, this program is cheaper in absolute sense. And then idea of living in France, I was sold out.
Okay. And so you did your program in France. I'm learning a little bit more. You have 2 main campuses, right?
You're right. So INSEAD has like 2 main campuses, Singapore and France. You can start from either place, but it depends like what do you fill in your application. So you have to give a choice and then you can start from Singapore, France. So basically INSEAD is 5 periods over 10-month program. And then if you are January batch, you get 2 months of internship period. But if you are July batch, then you just do the 10-month program in one go. So that said, they have 2 intakes for both the campuses. And after your 2 periods, like as in after 4 months, you can exchange. Like Singapore folks can choose to come to France, and then the people who have started in France can choose to go to Singapore. And then you can also choose to do exchange, like I did at Kellogg. Some of the folks did at Wharton. So basically, there's an opportunity to do like 3 continents in a 10-month program. It's, I don't know, yeah. They have done a great design, yes.
So cool. This is a maybe silly question, but did you travel a lot when you were there?
I did, but I don't think I travel as much as my peers. Definitely not as much as that. But I did exchange, so I think that became like a travel thing. Moving from France to Chicago was also cool. But I have classmates who did Singapore, France, and then they also went to the US for Wharton or Kellogg. So that was crazy for me. Yeah.
What do you feel helped you get admitted? It's a competitive program.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think just thinking about NCR itself filters out a lot of people who are thinking about applying to NCR. What I mean is NCR values a lot of international experience. NCR encourages people to have background with three languages. I mean that sounds like a requirement, but let me tell you, this is not a requirement. This is more of an encouragement. You should know three languages, different level. One could be a native, one could be fluent, and third one could be A2 level. And they provide third language training or maybe like two language training, whatever you want, on the campus for free when you are doing your program. Now things becomes really tight when you want to do a language learning as well with your MBA, right? But people do that. So I think because of the setup, right, like global international footprint setup, there are not many folks who apply to NCR for the first, as a first choice of school. And then the second thing is, I don't know if things have changed yet, but during like when I applied, I had to write like 7 essays or 6 to 7 essays, which is equivalent to applying like 2 or 3 schools, right? Yeah. So I think INSEAD's program set you up for like you are really committed to the school. That's why I said a lot of people already get filtered out. If you're committed to INSEAD, then you are applying there with your, showcasing your experience in which INSEAD is interested. So I think that's the main thing about INSEAD that a lot of other schools do not have, right?
No, that's fascinating. In a stark contrast to a program like Stanford, where the essay prompt is very well known. You have two essays, and one of them is like a very famous prompt. And so anyone could apply and write an essay. But INSEAD, the application is very
Yeah.
difficult.
You are right. You're right. You have to be really committed. I think they really want to know you, just not like you write 2 essays where you are A to B, how do you go? Not that, but more about your life because everybody has like so much to share about their life and ambitions, right? So I think INSEAD takes time to understand that and they're really interested in your background and where you want to go from there.
Okay. You said that you took a break for your family, which is amazing. And I hope that everything's working out there. It might be difficult to answer because of the break and whatnot, but how long do you think someone should expect to commit to the application process? Is it a 6-month endeavor? Is it a year? What do you recommend?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. For me, what happened was there was a medical situation, so I couldn't plan that much. And when I got back to like the normal life and I decided I want to do that, I was looking for the schools that still are open to apply. Like most of the US schools deadline was like round 2, round 3. So I was like missing out and I didn't want to like wait for another year. So that was the first thing. So then I didn't had much time. So I think before I started doing all the research, started talking to the folks, I had like maybe 3.5 months. I had like MBA program in mind, but will I go to NCR? I think I decided that like 3 to 4 months in advance, not more than that. But having said that, I could have made my application way stronger. I think if I had like 6 months, so I would say like good 6 to 7 months is a good because I think at NCR you would really want to connect with alums, and there are so many people, right? It's a very global school, so you want to connect with alums from different geographies, understand their perspective, and then 10 months is really intensive. So connecting to people, how did they survive, or how did they balance out things, would be really helpful. Which I think I did not get to do a lot given my situation, but I would say like good 6 months should be given to NCR's preparation. I mean that's the timeline, but people can do in 2 months as well. It's just my suggestion.
And it's interesting for you to almost critique your own application because it worked. You're in. You're
Yeah,
done.
that's true. So what I think I could have been more prepared. It was quite chaotic.
I'm sure it was 7 essays in 3 months of, yeah, on top of everything else. Okay, a question I have for you then is you come from engineering, you pivoted to consulting at BCG. Were you hesitant or worried about choosing a program that doesn't have a summer block where you go and do a traditional internship? Were you nervous about being able to pivot?
So first of all, I went to January program where we do get like 2 months summer break in between so that you can pursue an intern. Yeah, so the two intakes are different in that. If you go to January intake, which ends in December, you get 2 months summer, like July and August.
Great.
Yeah. But if you go to July intake, then you do not have a internship break in between. So that's the difference. But having said that, doesn't change. I was very nervous. Yes. I didn't know like this is gonna happen. So I don't think I went to MBA school saying like I definitely have to do like MBB. This is the final thing. I wanted to do consulting, management consulting. It was clear because I wanted to work for different industries. I really like the idea of the kind of impact that you can bring while working for these firms. But in my case, even though I would just add this little information. In my case, I had this 2-month internship break, but I couldn't do internship because my father was going through a small surgery and I wanted to be in India to support him. So I took that break to come back to my family, do that little thing because it was needed at that time. But I did get chance to explore sustainability consulting in that period. Yeah, INSEAD is really big on sustainability. In fact, and during my cohort, INSEAD added a lot of sustainable related courses and topics in pretty much like every subject. They tried like really hard to tell us like, we believe in sustainability and how are the ways you can kind of involve this particular philosophy idea in your career. So I got this idea like, yeah, I want to know more. I want to know more about carbon credits. How do you sell? What is a market? And then what is CBAM, which is a very European thing at this point. So I took that internship break as a part where I can support my family, but also could learn about sustainable consulting. So I did like a small partnership with a local consulting firm in India. And then I learned great deal about how our carbon taxes work, what are the credits, how do you trade, things like that. It was really nice.
Cool. Okay, great. I have not taken one sustainability course. I need to
No, but you have that course that's a famous course. What every MBA should know about climate change, right? By Professor, I forgot her name, and she got like a best professor award too, right? I don't know. Okay, maybe.
I'll look into it.
No, but no, maybe the thing is, when I was at Kellogg, it was a little difficult time because it's hard to choose courses and fit it in your curriculum. So not every course is offered at every time, right? Which would work with the evening MBAs, right? But there's a course called what every MBA should know about climate change. It was really cool. It was really really famous when I was at Kellogg.
Okay, awesome. I'll dig into it for sure.
Yeah. No, but INSEAD is a sustainability champion. I think that's what I have felt.
Okay, that's wonderful. Did a lot of your classmates do a transfer program? I think that is such a very cool aspect of INSEAD.
You mean transfer as in between the campuses?
Yes, that you did to Kellogg.
I could be wrong in this number, but I want to quote like maybe 90% of the class at least goes in one period to another campus, at least.
Yeah, such an opportunity. Talk to someone like me who obviously doesn't know very much about the program and maybe do a pitch. Like, what are the best things about INSEAD? What did you enjoy most? And maybe even what are a few drawbacks or challenges?
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, I've already told you 5 periods, 2 month each, 10-month program. Very intensive, but equally transformative. When I started researching, what I found is there is a alum in every part of the world, literally every part of the world, even in the smaller cities. You can find connection, you can learn about different things, different industries. So that is one of the coolest things about NCR. Second thing I would say is just the transfer between Singapore and France, Asia and Europe, learning about these two cultures, these two very different places. It's kind of an opportunity, I guess. So I think that would be the second thing. And I think the third thing is you're getting opportunity to live in France, Paris, which was like very cool to me. I think I picked up some French in Canada, but then I prepared little bit so that I can satisfy the NCR's criteria for 3 language. And honestly, I leveled up my French speaking skills on the random train stations where I would find some strangers and ask like, hey, can you give me directions or ideas like where should I go and this. I think that's where I improved my French a lot. I loved it. I loved it. I can't speak that well now. I think I'm not practicing, so I'm not that good. But I love that hustling when I was at the program. And then you don't get like a lot of time initially because even your weekends are packed up.
Mm.
Still try to make plans with your friends and go to Paris, go to different countries. It's very easy to travel around Netherlands or Belgium. I think I love that. And things really change. Like I used to be a structural engineer before my MBA. So I understand a little bit of architecture. So as you change the country, you can see the architecture is very different. The buildings are built in a very different way in Netherlands compared to Belgium. So that was so cool to me. I don't know if I were not at NCR, will I live like that? Will I get a chance? I don't know. So maybe like one thing about NCR that it's coming to my mind now is even the teachers at NCR, right? Like it's not like all good things about NCR, but just the teachers who taught us, right? They were also quite like diverse. Like 100% of our teachers, like they were born in another country. They studied definitely in another country and they were teaching in France. And I was like, wow, they live up to the global whatever messaging they do. So that was cool. It's not like you don't see this French people there. It's like professors are quite diverse too.
Again, that's why people want to know. It's like those amazing things about your program that we do have professors from abroad. Like my accounting professor was German, but I can't even imagine the diversity there. So cool.
And last but not the least, INSEAD also prepares you for the real life job. Whether you go to management consulting or whether you go to finance, it would be a challenging couple of years initially, right? So the kind of hustling you do throughout your 10 months is what is going to happen post MBA, which I am living right, by the way. So
Wonderful 4 points. Anything that people should know contrary wise that maybe you didn't love about the program?
yeah, no, that's a good point. I think a lot of us, including me, thought INSEAD is a only consulting school, right? Like that's why I actually went there. I was always interested in like management consulting, so I went to INSEAD. But after I went to INSEAD, I think it was not just consulting. I think some of I think 30% of our class last time was sponsored. So you think it's a consulting school because there are sponsored candidates, but taking off the sponsored candidates, you can see people come from like luxury background and they go to luxury background. People from operations, then people from like different, I would say like NGOs, like people who want to do climate tech or people who want to really just do like non-profits, family businesses. It's like way more than consulting.
Awesome. That's great to know. That is. Okay. You have shared so much. Can you close us off with just what is Rakhi's advice for someone considering business school at all?
Start soon. I did that mistake of not starting soon. I think if even if you're not international, there will be some setbacks or barriers. I would say maybe think about those barriers when you got an admission, right, to a school. I think I overthought about a lot of things and I delayed my preparation, delayed my ambitions. Just the preparation phase, kind of evolves you a lot. Like when you talk to people, like I want to do this, that, people ask you questions, you ask them. That itself is quite a journey. And just be curious. I think if you do that, doesn't matter if you actually are pursuing an MBA or not, you would see you would have learned like great deal of things.
Love it. Start early. That's a big takeaway. And just be curious. I love that. Okay. Well, Rakhi, thank you so much for this time and sharing what is certainly new information for me. I have a little bit of France FOMO right now, but Chicago is great too.
Oh no, Chicago
So
is lovely. I feel like New York is great, but if you want like a better experience, I would choose Chicago over New York.
it's so cool that you can say that from experience. You have just, wow.
No, but I think yeah, I just felt like so it's more
No.
organized in Chicago. I felt.
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing what you have and hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you for giving me a opportunity to share my experience with everybody who would be listening. We're digressing a bit, but when I share this at home, like, oh, we are going to a national park, my folks, like my parents back home, oh, you're going to like a zoo kind of thing. I'm like, no, it's not a zoo. Right. They don't know, like we don't know as Indians like what national park is. We don't. We don't have those in India. I'm like, no, it's not like a zoo. It's so funny.